Hi guys, today we will talk about some IEMs. So here I have three different pairs of IEMs that are either marketed towards gamers or otherwise just very much preferred amongst gamers. All these cost under $70 and therefore can be considered as budget IEMs. The first pair I have here is the Soratune YI01. Soratune is a new company aimed towards a younger audience and those who use IEMs for both gaming and music listening. The company behind Soratune is, however, a pretty well-known company amongst sci-fi enthusiasts, JERRORR. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but I don't care. These IEMs feature a dual dynamic driver setup with one taking care of the bass region and the second handling the rest, which is not that uncommon these days. The shell is CNC machined aluminum with a design taking inspiration from a harpsichord, and the included cable is quite good silver plated copper cable that I find to be pretty nice against tangling. The nozzle diameter is quite average and I found it to fit most of my ear tips quite well, and the price of these is around $69. Then the second pair we have here is the Final Audio VR2000. This set is quite interesting also, and it's marketed towards gamers mainly wanting the best spatial awareness, and it's meant to be an IEM that will pick up every little audio cue from your game's environment like footsteps and such. It is featuring a single dynamic driver, Final Audio's F-Core DU, that is also featured on their more expensive A series. On the outside, the shell is crafted from this slightly olive colored gray ABS, and the ear hooks are detachable, so you need to install them yourself if you want to use those. The cable is also non-detachable, which is the main shortcoming of this IEM, and it also has this inline controller on there. With a mic with some volume controls. I didn't test this mic or the volume controller since I run my IEMs through my DAC amp combo, but the cable is quite generic audio cable, but it still works nicely and it is not very prone to tangling. The nozzle size of these is quite small, so those looking for aftermarket tips for these might encounter some issues. These also cost the same as the Soratunes, so around $69. Then for the third one we have here the much praised Truth Ear Clinical Zero Red. This pair doesn't really need that much introduction. It's a slightly different take on the Zero Blue with a different tuning, and it also comes with this bass booster for more oomph in the lower frequency range. The build quality is good and the nozzle diameter is a bit on the larger side, so some users might encounter some comfort issues using this. The cable is the Truth Ear black cable that is also featured in the Truth Ear Hexa, that has been one of my top recommendation for a neutral IEM for gaming. It is a bit prone to tangling, but it's a cable that doesn't really pick up any annoying sounds from rubbing against your clothes and whatnot. These are the cheapest option of these three, costing only around $55. Then for the accessories these come with. The Soratune comes with this nice case that is quite sturdy and it will offer nice protection while you carry these around. I'm not sure anymore what ear tips came with these, since I've had these pair for like 3 months now and I have so many generic ear tips lying around that come included with IEMs. This also tells me that they were nothing special. I currently have these Dunu SNS tips on mine and those work really well with these. The Final Audio VR2000 doesn't come with any case, and rather it comes with this fabric pouch. The included ear tips are literally the best stock ear tips that I've encountered, the Final Audio Type E ear tips, and they offer you a wide variety of different sizes to choose from. They offer you the normal S, M and L, but also the middle sizes between, and the silicone is very nice and soft with a thicker nozzle part. The Truth Ear Clinical Zero Reds then come with the same accessories as Truth Ear's IEM ship with usually, so a fake leather pouch and their array of silicone and foam ear tips that offer a relatively good seal and comfort with different ball sizes to choose from. I, however, have chosen to use mine with these spin fit tips here, but you could just experiment with the included tips quite nicely. Comfort wise, the Final Audio IEMs are by far the most comfortable IEMs that I've used, and the included ear tips seal like crazy for me. The shell is structured in a way it makes a bunch of different contact points on your ear and it sits nicely flush against your ear canal. The Soratunes are also quite good but yeah, they are not nearly as comfortable as the final audios. I don't really expect anyone to have a real comfort issues with the Sora-Tunes either. The Truth Ear JERRORRs can then cause some issues due to the nozzle diameter being so wide, but you can relieve that with using a different ear tip, like I have with my SpinFit tips. Then for the most important part, how does this sound? Well, the Sora-Tune IEMs offer a very balanced sound with the surprisingly quantity and quality of bass. The treble is quite neutral and the mid-range is pretty lush, so to speak, and like overall I found these to be very easy to listen to for longer sessions as well. The tonality overall leans a bit to the warmer side of things. For gaming, these perform really nicely as well, and the imaging and separation seems to be nicely done as well. I can pick up small audio cues with these quite easily, and for a sub $70 IEM, these really surprised me tonality wise. The final audio IEMs then are quite surprising when you first hear them. The sound is very neutral and you could say it is very detailed and harsh even. This tonality is something that I found to be somewhat tiring for music listening, and it doesn't add any enjoyable spice to any frequencies. The treble especially can be a bit too sibilant for my tastes. This IEM however really excels at gaming use, and I found the soundstage and imaging to be almost comically wide and precise. They really deliver on the gaming performance aspects they advertise these for. It's just a bummer that the sound profile overall is quite fatiguing. Then for the critical JERRORRs, these without the adapter offer a pretty neutral and clear tonality with a boost in the sub-bass region. The tonality is very pleasant and easy to listen to, but sometimes I just wish it would have a bit more energy in the upper ranges. With the adapter you can increase the bass response and it gives a nice amount of deep bass that still retains the tightness somewhat. For gaming, these are really nice as well. However, the soundstage is not as wide and picking up the smaller audio cues is not as precise as with the Sora-Tunes or with the final audio ones. You still hear footstep cues, but here they are more like hinting that there is something happening rather than saying here is that dude exactly. But still, considering the price, these perform really well too. So for the conclusion, I would say the best overall package for combined use are the Sora-Tunes. They really have surprised me with the overall tonality and how they perform in gaming as well. The best in-game details and the widest sound stage from these is easily the final audio VR2000, but those are not something I'd listen to music that much. The cable not being detachable is also a major letdown, but these do come with the very nice ear tips included, and the wearing comfort is really nice as well. The Truth Ear Critical JERRORRs are also a very nice pair of IEMs that can offer you a nice bassy experience with the included adapter. These are the cheapest pair from these three and they are very widely available, and for gaming these do perform really nicely as well. They do not offer the best soundstage and footstep audio clarity, but are a very safe recommendation, especially for the price. There is a version coming with a slimmer nozzle, I guess, so you could probably wait for that one if you are interested. But yeah, that is all for this roundup of budget IEMs. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one. Goodbye.